Afternoon, here we are, game week. Excited, giddy. I know what this feeling is like going into it, especially as a rookie entering into really your first official NFL game, preseason, regular season. I'm excited for these guys. You know, we really kept the game plan very, very simple for a reason. I want to see guys flying around, and I've learned very, very quickly in this league that slow, correct decisions are still wrong. And so that's why we try to make the game plan as simple as possible for these guys to see how quickly can they trigger, run around, our ability to tackle, really put our play style on display in terms of our physicality. So I'm really excited about this group going out and see if we can find a way to get a win.
Now, when it comes to kick returning, those small sample sizes with kick returns, guys might get one or two. Like, how do you use those couple to evaluate along with what you've seen out here?
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you look at who's back there possibly. Having both ties back there, and then really after that it's a bunch of young guys, and so we really want to maximize what the scheme is and what we're doing to really give them an opportunity to display, showcase their ability. So we got to make sure we got the right personnel in there, understanding on what the scheme is, how to set it, how we want to be able to return it, to maximize the opportunity that we do have back there. And ball security is always going to be at a premium, obviously. And from there, we'll see who'll be able to kind of make a play, show that tackle breaking ability, being able to set up returns, set up blocks, stick your foot in the ground to get vertical. It won't be, we'll see how many opportunities we do have, but let's make sure we're maximizing all of them.
What specifically about his game do you think translates to being a kickoff returner?
I think the biggest thing is you look at the tape, he's always been a ball in hand guy, whether it's the rack yardage or the yak yardage, his ability to stick the foot in the ground, always really, and I think for Tai, he has the ability to make you miss at the first, second, and third level. So he can make you miss, whether it's within the shoot balls, but he's also able to see the backdoor cuts that do happen really at that second level right there. And then he's got the gas to really run away from the guys in the third level. And so that's what you're really excited about from a Tai Felton standpoint.
How Rondale coming off injury? Is he looking as explosive as?
Yes, I think that's really probably been the most surprising thing that I've seen out of Rondale is the explosion is still there, especially considering the injury that he did suffer last year coming off of it. The confidence is still there, and that's always the biggest thing when you're coming off of these injuries. How do they handle it from a mental standpoint more so than the physical aspect of it? And I think he's done an unbelievable job of rehabbing and really kind of coming back to his own. I would say that 4.28 speed is still there on display, and the Porsche is ready to go.
I think with Rondale, you talked about just needing to get him some live reps. Is he going to take the lead at that punt return spot?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the idea is for us to get Rondale in there early and often as possible just to get him comfortable, because again, this is a guy that's, you look at it on our roster, there's really only 3 guys that have actually caught an NFL punt, being him, Rondell Moore, Lucky Jackson, first time did it last year in the preseason. Then you got Byron Murphy on the defensive side. But outside of that, there's no one else on the team that's actually caught a punt. And so we want to give the opportunity to Rondell to do it, because he hasn't done it since 2021. So, you look at it, that's 4 years ago. So just getting comfortable back there, understanding on the time and the space, the distance of how far gunners are away from me, and premium is always going to be the decision making.
Is it like riding a bike, or how often, or how long does it take to get?
That's a good question, Dane. Is it like riding a bike? Yes, it is. I think once you kind of get on and not necessarily fall the first time, but you kind of get going at a good speed of it, I think it becomes quite natural again, and you gain that confidence back there.
What have you thought of?
Assuming most teams this preseason are going to kick returnable balls just so they can test out.
Absolutely. I would be highly shocked if unless the game is just out of hand and someone's getting blown out and really trying to prevent injuries happening, I'll imagine 95% of kicks, 90% of kicks will be in play for sure, Kevin.
What have you thought of Kobe King? I feel like we've seen him out there in some situations with your teams.
Yeah, definitely. I love Kobe's versatility when you look at it. This is a guy, 245, 250 pounds, moves really well in space. His ability to tackle is really, really good. But, I think the biggest thing is this guy's a block destruction. To punch people, to sit people down, to play with violence and physicality that you really look for at that inside linebacker position. So I'm looking to see how well does he defeat blocks, how well does he play in space, and what does it look like in terms of him being able to down ball carriers in space.
Done any studies yet in terms of that 5 yards difference on a touchback, in terms of how much of a difference it makes in terms of scoring on a drive?
For sure, yes,
People-
yes, we have. I don't want to get too much into the percentages per se, but what I will say is that it's worth the risk in terms of trying to get the ball on the ground, see if you can gain that advantage of being able to kind of get that good touchback to get it to the 20-yard line. So that's something that we've really been kind of digging into. And obviously, it's going to be a situational type of thing, that where what is the risk versus the reward in terms of where you at in the game, how much are you up, at what point, at what time is it, what does the play clock say? So you kind of look at those things and weigh what the benefits are versus the risk.
Spike in terms of the 30 to 35, how much affects scoring rates there? To make
Yeah, and you really look at it, just the average drive start last year was right around like the 28-yard line. And so it was really already technically a kickoff play from jump. And so now you add that extra 7-yard or start field position at the 35, where now it even becomes more of a kickoff play. And you add another layer of that, and now you start talking about, well, how much was the scoring percentage look like from the 40-yard line versus the 35? Or even being able to kind of pin them into the 20-yard line on that good touchback. So being able to weigh those kind of risk-reward factors is going to play a big dividend week to week for us.
Matt, Josh Oliver's become a big contributor on offense, but also to your unit as well. Just what do you think makes him so unique?
I think us and everyone, other 31 teams in the NFL, let's say that he's probably the best blocking tight end, bar none. And that's what you appreciate. You don't really have to double with this guy. He can take on whoever the best cover team is. He's got the ability and the great feet to play within space, to match and mirror speed bodies, bigger bodies. And that's really what you love the most about Josh, just that versatility that he has, just in terms of being able to match up on what you might consider to be a mismatched body type for him. Cool. Appreciate y'all.